developments, and apparently we have another great defensive tackle in the midst in the NFL. Was it DeForest Buckner is apparently like Aaron Donald and Devon Godchaux and others, according to Bill Belichick?
Yeah, Hayward was in there, Aaron Donald. Anytime you put a Bill was throwing around some praise today on a lot of levels. Certainly, DeForest Buckner got his share, being included with a guy that some people think might be the best defensive lineman in the history of the game, right, in Aaron Donald,
right,
who has the awards and the production to go along with it. Then at one point there, he said that Adam Vinatieri, Hall of Fame kicker, well, really all three could be in the Hall of Fame, talking about Vinatieri, Steven Gostowski, and Nick Folk, which I thought was a little much. Yep, he went down that road.
What?
And then he talked about Shaquille. It's Shaquille now, right?
Yes, it's
not
Shaq
Darius.
Barrett.
Shaq Leonard.
Shaq Leonard.
Shaq Leonard, sorry. Shaq
Looks like
Barrett's out for Tampa.
Shaquille
Looks like he's returning this week. And he said he put him, one of the great young linebackers that's ever come into the league or something like that, like Kuechly, Mayo. And I was like, wait a minute. Kuechly was a Defensive Player of the Year. When did Mayo win that award? So
he's getting crazy now with the hyperbole. But,
well, the one thing he didn't talk about as being good is the 2022 Indianapolis Colts. His whole opening monologue, and we've started to really analyze these, how long they are. Is it 7 minutes for the Bears? Is it 47 seconds for the Jets? This was a middling one, 3 minutes and change, I think, but it was all about last year and the talent they have and the coaching and he never actually got to the production or what kind of they're doing on the field, which is the most relevant thing, right? Isn't that what all that matters is execution. I don't believe he never mentioned the Colts execution once. He talked all in circles about all of it, and obviously with a new quarterback in Sam Ehlinger, who's 1 week in,
can't make all the throws.
I'm not sure he makes all. He did note that they have put in some QB runs, and he said, "quote." What are you saying? We haven't been great up against that, so we'll see how that goes or something.
No, they haven't.
But also, Sam Ehlinger is not freaking Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson, so we'll see. We'll see.
Now, a lot has been discussed about Mac Jones, and where do you stand on how he has played, not just for the whole season, but specifically the last 2 weeks? I think some are trying to find ways to say, it hasn't been that bad, or point to others as the reasons why the offense itself has struggled. But where do you come down on Mac Jones' play since he's come back from the ankle injury?
So I'm sort of in that latter category. I believe I've almost become a Mac apologist, which is weird for me because I don't really like him, and I'm not really sure he's all that good.
Right.
But I think the people that have just dismissed what he's accomplished over the last year and a half and are willing to just kick him to the curb are out of their effing minds. And I look around, if I'm going to make a list of the problems the offense has, there are a lot of the things we knew they would have coming into the season. Hey, they don't have any playmakers or a number one receiver or a go-to guy. Hey, their offensive line looks like it could be a little sketchy, a little bit of a house of cards, as we talked about all. Hey, by the way, their scheme and their coaching staff, questionable. Play calling, questionable. And damn it, if all those things aren't issues for Mac Jones right now. So I've been defending him. I don't think he's played great. He's turned the ball over. Some of that's on him. But you know what I think he has? I think he has a confidence problem. And not so much a confidence in Mac Jones, but a confidence problem with, hey, are these fat guys in front of me going to keep those other guys away from me? Yeah. Hey, is that guy over there, and I didn't call him big because I don't like when people take shots at Matt Patricia, but is he going to call a good play in a good situation here? And, oh, by the way, those skinny, fast guys on the outside, are they actually going to be where I expect them to do and do what I think they're going to do so that I can throw them the ball and we can make plays? I don't think he has confidence in anything around him. And not surprisingly, what does that lead to? Him tucking the ball and running for a guy who really shouldn't be tucking the ball and running and taking hellacious hits.
Well, and that's the thing, Hart. It's a bit of a – it feels like there's a little bit of a catch-22. The right play might be to do nothing with the ball. But when he does that, even if it's the right play – it's still his fault according to people on the outside.
Correct.
And that's where you see the face where he's standing in the pocket too long and then he ultimately gets sacked. There is a confidence issue with him, and I think it is the coaches have kind of put it in his head. It went from take care of the ball and be fundamentally sound to now your ass better be scared that I'm going to pull you out, and you can't operate like that.
Well, I do think Bill, and I think we talked about this last week, the idea that maybe Bill needs to take a Cam Newton-like campaign for Mac and start to build him back up, start to say nice things about him. And I think he's done that this week. I think he did it on the Monday Morning Zoom. I think he did it on the Greg Hill show, defending the interception, getting sort of defensive about that, falling on Mac. So I think that process is underway, and I do think Mac is the guy. You know, I don't think Bill is legitimately going to pull Mac for Zappe. I know CBS's halftime show was talking about that, but I also do think that pick six was a crossroads for the Patriots, for the game, for his season, for the way people feel about him, and you got a flag, which you should. That was a modern roughing the passer. That's just the reality of the game. You can't bitch about it. And he made the most of it. Field goal, and then he comes out of the second half. Thank you, Ramondre Stevenson, 35-yard rush to jumpstart it, but he gets the touchdown, and everybody, okay, we went from down 17-3 to up, whatever it was, 13-10 at that point.
13-10, yep.
So that was huge. And he is still in that process. But I thought, and I don't know if you guys talked about this on Monday, I thought Mac Jones's tone on both Sunday night and Monday was more positive, was more upbeat, was a little bit, in a better place than I feel like he's been. Now, obviously, it helps that he played the whole game. He started, he finished, he didn't have to deal with Zappe, none of that. They won. There was a lot of reasons for that, but I think they needed that. I think they needed a step in the right direction for him, and thankfully, Zach Wilson made sure they got what they needed.
And it was also in front of a New York crowd, so when you're getting sacked or throwing interceptions or whatever, you're not going to hear anything from the crowd. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen Bailey Zappe, but this Sunday they are at home. If they get out to a slow start, and whether it's interceptions or just 3-and-outs, you think there's still a Bailey Zappe kind of excitement in the crowd, or do you think people have moved on from that?
I think people in the team have moved on. I think people in the seats have not moved on. I think that Twitter, whatever our interactions are, phone calls, texts, there is still a portion of the fan base. Now, it's shrunk. I think at some point there it was like maybe 80% Zappe people, 70%. Like it was a majority Zappe. Now I think it's probably below 50%, but we all know sometimes the vocal minority can make a stink, can put up a stink. And yes, if Max struggles against – because everybody has this as a layup, right? It's a layup game.
Yeah, Colts stink. They just fired their offensive coordinator.
Right, just like the Bears. Just like the Bears was a layup.
Jonathan
that was a layup
Taylor
game.
Didn't practice. Yeah, Bears. Right? Yeah, they dominated that Bears game.
And you're that didn't work out very well.
Nope.
And it's all these teams that the elitist New England fan says, "Oh, we're way better than them." Correct me if I'm wrong. You have a half game better record. You're 4-4. They're 3-4-1.
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong. They beat the Chiefs. What's the Patriots' best record? Best win?
That would be the Browns.
Ooh, the big bad Browns.
Probably the Browns, yeah.
Okay, so is that a good win?
Browns or Jets, I guess. Record-wise, it'd be the Jets.
Okay. So
no, it's not. It's not. But thankfully, they're not in the BCS power rankings here.
No, my point is, though, I'm talking more about the air of arrogance that has returned to Patriot Nation after including
well, that win against Kansas City mattered so much they sat their starting quarterback.
Well, I'm not saying the Colts are good. They have a lot of issues on their own right. My point is I'm not really willing to say the Patriots are good yet, except
they can't take anybody lightly.
No, they're not good enough. They took the freaking Bears lightly and got embarrassed by Justin Fields and that entire organization. But I'm reading on Twitter the other night, your former radio partner, Gresh.
Well, which one?
Yeah, get in line.
Text me which one.
I'm not sure I'm supposed to say at this time, but maybe that gives it away.
The one who might have an issue with rap music.
And the one who thinks
that rap music.
Or an
he watched Monday night. That was a good line right there. But he watches the Bengals play the other night and says that's a layup for the Patriots. Suddenly the Bengals are a layup.
There are no layups. There are no layups for the Patriots.
None. The Colts are not a layup. The Bears were not a layup. None of the Jets were not a layup. You were a flag away. If the flag gets stuck and the guy can't get it out, I think you get blown out by the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. You're down 17-3, and I don't think the quarterback on the other team craps his pants and gives you the game. You probably see your quarterback under more pressure, and who knows what happens to him. So they are walking a fine line of, as I posted today on the website, they're just a middling team. We kind of knew they'd be middling. We talked about it coming in all year. year. We knew the warts. We knew the lack of strengths, and that's who they are.
And real quick on the Bengals game, you'd probably feel a little bit better if you got him when Jamar Chase was still out. But Jamar Chase should be back by the time they play the Patriots. So.
You would think so, maybe.
I have a working theory there. I think this is going to go down a bad road for Jamar Chase and the Bengals. Anytime there's these injuries, it was talk of IR. Nope, we're not going to do IR. We're going to wait it out. He'll be back.
Oh, like Mac Jones.
You want to bet a lunch on it? I bet you Jamar Chase does not play against the Patriots when they play.
Well,
right,
hips are always problematic.
Hips are weird. I'm telling you, this is not going to end well for the Bengals and Jamar Chase.
Well, my fantasy team needs that guy to get
Your fantasy team stinks, and so does Gresh's. What the hell happened to you losers?
I'm talking about my other league.
Okay.
I don't have Chase.
I've had the most points scored on me is really what's happened. Like
stats are for losers, and you're a loser,
I'm
Gresh.
just saying that.
Andy had his way with me this past week, by the way.
Gross.
Yeah.
Don't
Cheeks are still
brag.
jiggling.
First place, looking down at y'all.
You better put that in the brag this week that Andy had his way with you this weekend. Andy Hart,
remember Hart's kid drafted his team anyway.
No,
that's
I'm
true.
taking
You don't
full
get.
credit.
That's right. He doesn't get credit. Even his daughter threw in a pick.
I am Bill
Gonna
Belichick.
cut the belt in half?
Nope. Matt
That's right.
Rowe, who? Elliot Wolf, who? No, damn it, I've had 3 good drafts in a row.
Would your kid have gotten a backhand if he had a bad year? It would have been like, this is your
Obviously.
fault. And
That's how it works.
You would have fired
blame,
him?
You blame them in failure, and then you push them to the side and take the credit.
Okay, I know you're into the conspiracy theories, so I ask a question that would require one. Why is Bill Belichick so unwilling to talk about passing George Halas for second on the all-time wins list?
Well, I mean, in general, he's tried to avoid those things over the years, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a case of...
But he also respects history maybe more than anybody else in the game
but
and
it's
knows
precedent
it
setting.
better.
Do as I say, not as I do if you do that. Like, if he goes up there and says, I'd just like to thank everybody for the great years I've had dominating the National Football League, and now that I'm second best all time. Like,
okay, but all he has to do is speak for him, right? Just be like, hey, it means a lot to me. George Halas influenced me.
he's still
Kiss
be a
his
fraud.
rear end, and there you go.
He'd still be a fraud. He has captains that aren't allowed to wear the same patch that 31 other teams wear that say captain. So he can't take a victory lap after his 325th, right?
They
Like,
don't care about stats or titles or anything
right.
else.
Like, I don't think he can, like, or even the guys he has now. Forget Brady and Gronk; those guys all broke records, and we used to mock. Remember when Drew Brees and the Saints, they had that.
Oh,
like,
the
they
first down
stopped
record.
the game
Yeah.
or whatever, and the
It
guy
was
from
the most embarrassing thing.
big
ever.
dude from the
pretty
Hall
bad.
of Fame gave him like a certificate on midfield. Like,
It's like a
we don't-
Guinness record.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. Like, and you can't say we don't
I'm
do
David
that
Baker,
here.
president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I like that guy.
Relax.
He's a big dude.
He is. He's 6'9". He's
He is.
a great guy, too.
I shared a urinal with him at
How'd that go?
Gillette, and it
Really?
like, I
One
felt like
urinal,
less of
two
a man.
guys?
Yeah, we were sword
I've never
fighting.
seen anything like this.
One urinal, 2 wangs.
Yep, that's how it was.
Tony,
Hall
that
of
would
Fame.
be the best prank
That
if
wasn't
that dude. We just
intimidating,
had
that
that
guy.
dude walk in during
Yeah.
the Greg Hill show and see what Wiggy did.
Actually, David Baker is so big, combined with Hart's stature, that he didn't even know there was someone there. He just peed right over him.
come on.
Hart was
You
there,
know what
too.
it is? No, it's
Just
actually,
unravels in Andy's face.
Oh, come on.
I actually read about this. It's a
Is that what
sign.
you said?
No, it's a sign of dominance when one guy's at the urinal and then a bigger guy just comes in there and is like, "I'm going now." I'm not waiting in line, and they just go, and there's nothing you can do. As
And
a
I-
smaller guy, you're like, "Well, this is
Excuse me,
happening."
sir. Pardon me.
I'm almost done. He's like, "Well, I'm just starting."
You are done.
You walk up,
Okay, I'll wrap it up.
you hear the zip. You're like, I'm not at a Celtics game. Where's Udoka? What's going on here?
Oh,
Well, it's a topical story.
Well, he's
Andy.
about to be traded. You mentioned
not traded.
Oh, not traded.
Not
Damn it! I
traded.
keep saying that. Are the Colts as bad as we think? I know we just talked about Patriots can't take anybody lightly. However, what do you see with the Colts and this guy who was the fourth quarterback at Texas or whatever?
Well, what we know is I don't know what the fourth quarterback at Texas is going to be. He's a young athletic. Now, Bill had a good line in his press conference about sort of like the uncertainty or like maybe looking your nose down preparations for a young. And he's like, well, we used 3 quarterbacks already this year. So like, who are we? Like, that's just the way the NFL's working right now. But I don't think the Colts are very good, but on paper they have the potential to be good on any given day. Like, I don't think the Bears were good, except the Bears whooped you. And I would argue, so the Colts have a better offensive coordinator than you, correct? Frank Reich. He's a proven offensive mind in the NFL.
done
Yeah.
offensive things. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He has a better
What do
record.
you mean by offensive?
Yeah.
Which term?
Well, what quarterback's he on?
Their running back is good, right? Their running back is good. Now, we'll see how healthy he is. Their number one receiver is better than your number one receiver, right? Pittman is a better receiver. And they're getting their linebacker back, who's an all-pro defensive player of the year type linebacker. They have good defensive players. they haven't put it together. They have not played well consistently all year, nor have the New England Patriots. So
You know what people are pointing out, too, now is that the Colts have really, ever since Nick Sirianni left, even though Frank Reich's sort of the guy there and maybe Sirianni wasn't calling the plays, Sirianni leaves. In the last 2 years, they have not looked nearly as good.
That's
so
a good point.
Sirianni.
Maybe his input. Now he's killing it with the Eagles, so there's a little bit of that.
Could be.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's back to where we were. Like, the one thing I'll say is they've turned it over a ton. I think they're last in the NFL, -8 turnovers. If they turn it over, just like Zach Wilson turned it over or any of these guys, it's over. But also, if Mac Jones decides to lob one up, now this is not a good game, so there probably won't even be a sky cam, but if he lobs one up and it bounces off a wire and lands with the safety, you're going down a road, or you could be in a dogfight very much with the Colts.
Are you surprised there was no trades made by the Patriots, whether it was somebody in or out?
Yes, and I had talked myself into they were going to unload Isaiah Wynn. I'm so done with the Isaiah Wynn experience over the last 5 years, and now that he's getting into little fights in the locker room with Mike Reese or whatever and giving Mike Reese a hard time. If you're going to give Mike Reese a hard time, there's no place for you in New England. I'm sorry. The guy's a saint. Saint on the Patriots beat. So
this sounds like 5'7" are rallying together.
Hey, I'm taller than Reese. I got a number of inches on Reese. But no, all right, you're not using. Don't cut that up, and I don't want to see that later in the week.
That's in the
We are not cutting that up.
We got a couple from you, as predicted, by the way.
Boy. But does it make any sense? Like, who are the Patriots? They're a 4-4 team. I'm saying they're a middling team. If you want to add a linebacker because you need help at linebacker, go find a cheap linebacker. I'm not saying you got to go get Roquan Smith, but trade a fifth-round pick for some second-round linebacker bust who you think could be more. Or go the other way. Trade Isaiah Wynn, trade Jacoby Myers because you think you're going to lose him after the season, get more draft capital, let younger guys play and start working toward the future. But the way they did it, they're truly a middling team. They're sitting on the fence.
I wanted Calvin Ridley. That would have been a classic. Oh, Belichick knows something. Everybody would have gone all hot and bothered by that one.
A step ahead type
I wanted
move.
Ridley, but
I think the problem at right tackle for the Patriots now is they got two guys, and I don't even know if they equal one.
Yeah, they don't. And I'm wondering, does Kajust get his shot at some point? And that would have been another reason for me to move on from
why not?
Wynn. Just give Kajust his point, collect. With the lack of offensive linemen in the NFL, I'm sorry, Isaiah Wynn has had decent stretches of his career. He is a former first-round pick. Somebody would say, yeah, I'll give you a late-round pick for him just to see what he has left and try to solidify my road to the playoffs or whatever. The way they did nothing leaves you, they're a nothing team. Like, where are they going? You're spinning your wheels. Okay, you're probably going to win this week. You might win next week. Oh, and then the schedule gets tougher. And my friends at PFF, my good pals there,
Yeah,
so
you
you
love
have
those
the
guys.
toughest schedule over the second half of the season.
Oh, boy.
So, like, what are we doing here? As
That's
my
not
friend
good.
Ryan Hannibal used to say,
yeah.
what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Well, we know what we're doing when Andy Hart joins us each and every Wednesday from Gillette Stadium, by the way. Lots of are you in the closet jokes and people wondering
that's
if
not okay.
And people wondering if that was your pumpkin uniform from Halloween.
It is. I love orange. I wore an
was
orange hoodie. Yes, it's orange all week. Orange,
Bears
you glad
colors.
I wore it?
Yeah.
I do like those Bears helmets. Those Bears helmets are sick.
Slick. Yep, I like them.
Yeah, those are lit, as the kids say.
Hart, thank you, friend. We appreciate it. Thanks for the drops as well.
Oh, you're welcome. See ya.
There goes Andy Hart, who joins us